Hey friends, good to be back with you again. Not the best light, I'm on the shady north side of the house, but it's hot and it'll just have to do. So let's talk about Venus retrograde today. The infamous Venus retrograde. It seems to scare everybody. It can be a very good thing. Venus retrograde is working for me. This is actually a very useful time for many of us. So June 19th, Venus went into the shadow phase, meaning that it began to cover the degrees of Leo that it will cover when it's retrograde. And Venus will be retrograde from about 28 degrees Leo to about 12 degrees Leo. So as of June 19th, we have already been experiencing the themes related to Venus retrograde. July 22nd, a few days ago, because I'm the laziest astrologer in town, I'm just out with it today. Venus on the 22nd officially went retrograde. It started going backwards in apparent motion in the sky. And that is going to continue until September 3rd, when Venus goes direct again, all the way back up to 28 degrees by October 7th. Oh, I'm sorry. Hummingbird just ran into the window. It is a long retrograde period, and it all happens in Leo, and it all happens between 28 and about 12 degrees. September 3rd, Venus moves forward to 28 degrees, and October 7th is officially out of the entire ordeal. So what does Venus retrograde mean? It's a reevaluation process. Venus retrograde means that we learn what we want. We get better acquainted with what our feelings are, with what our preferences are. And if you don't know what you want, you don't know yourself. You are not connected to your feelings if you do not know what you want. Now, it's normal to not know what we want when we're going through phases or changes or different periods or shifts in our life. But if not knowing what you want is a chronic problem, that is a problem. Venus retrograde can help us to figure out what we want to spend our time on, our attention on, our passion on, our money on. What is it that we gravitate towards? What is it that we find beautiful, pleasing, pleasurable? So many of us are going to make some discoveries about our own self-worth, and because Venus is in Leo, it's very much related to our authenticity. And many of us are going to discover that someone else's ideas about us, or someone else's desires about us, or someone else's opinions about us, that does not determine our worth or our attractiveness. So it's going to be a lot easier to identify what's important to us because we become more appropriately important to us. We put ourselves first. So it's a process of following your heart, really paying attention to what it is that you are gravitating towards. And sometimes what we want isn't in tune with our identity. Sometimes what we want isn't in tune with what we've already built for ourselves. And we have to really decide, are we going to go with what we've already got going on, or are we going to take a chance and really go with what we really truly want? So we've got to listen to our feelings, we've got to listen to our hearts, and we have to do right by ourselves. This is a period of time where relationships from the past often come back, and they'll come back for a redo, or they'll come back for closure. Sometimes they come back for renegotiation, and sometimes relationships completely leave our lives. They end. under Venus retrograde entirely because we discover that it's just not something that we want anymore. So there's a lot to look forward to, and there's a lot to look out for as well. We do not want to start consequential relationships under Venus retrograde, because what we want after the retrograde period ends may not be what we want during the retrograde period. So be patient. It is okay to explore. It is okay to look. It is okay to make connections. But we do want to be careful about getting too serious too soon about what we're not sure about. So be careful, be wise. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys super soon.